So, guys, it did not surprise me. Obviously, anything can happen if you're from Africa. As an African, you can be found doing what you're not supposed to be found doing. Because tell me how a judge will get caught up in a case of she bringing somebody into this country to work for her, and she's not paying them rightly, and she's depriving them of their passport and living the life of somebody that's living in diaspora. Tell me why she will get caught up in such. Anyway, guys, let's dive into this story. All right, hello everybody, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Wemimo, and I'm also known as that Mama 5 and also known as TMO5 Kanduko. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back. So today's video, I'm going to be reading the news, and I'm going to maybe put a screenshot of the website I'm reading the news for in case you want to go read further. So it says here that a Ugandan UN judge has been found guilty of modern slavery after forcing a young woman to work as a slave, has blamed the conviction on cultural difference. So apparently, she's here as a student. She's studying. She has children. She decided to ask one of her colleagues to help her get somebody to come into the UK because obviously, as a student herself, she can't really sponsor anybody. So according to the story, she brought this person was brought in for somebody under the pretext that they will come work for that other colleague of ours who is a male, only for this person who was brought into the UK to be sent to her. That person was now working for her. She was not paying the person well. She confiscated the person's passport and all of that shenanigans. So she's been found guilty, but she's going to be sentenced on the 2nd of May this year. However, the story is long well. So let me start reading it to you. So even though after she's been convicted, her family in Uganda are saying, oh, she knows about all these things. She knows the rules. She knows not to get caught up in it, but she got caught up in it anyways. Yeah, she did get caught up in it. And her family are saying that, oh, it's a cultural difference. Because obviously in Nigeria or in Africa, you can even take your sister's child who is below the age of 16 to turn them into housemaid and you will not pay them. We also the shenanigans that, let's take for example now, shenanigans that Nigerians who have housemaids, we see several videos of what they turn their housemaids to. So apparently, if you are one of that person that has been caught in the UK now, your family will say, it's cultural difference. What is cultural difference? You are in a country that has laws. And if the laws does not work here, it will not be maybe even more peaceful than Africa. But let me dive into the story, okay? So the family of a Ugandan United Nations judge who has been found guilty of modern slavery charges today, so she was found guilty on the 15th of March, insisted that she has been kind to the victim and blamed her conviction on cultural differences in the UK. Cultural differences, core cultural differences. And yes, some of you have said that, oh, why are you always bringing all these stories about Africans or Nigerians, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that there are a lot of unsuspecting African and Nigerians in diaspora. So me bringing all of these stories is to open your eye, to open your knowledge that these things are happening in real life. They are not just stories, but it's actually happening to real people. Now, something where no go fake you. Now, something where no go fake you. That is something you know. If it comes your way, you'll be able to recover much quicker as compared to something you don't know and it comes happening to you, then you struggle to find your feet again. So I'm just bringing this story that open your eyes so you are smart inside and out. So Lydia Mugambi, proper image here, she's a 49-year-old woman. It's been claimed that she treated her victim as an, in quote, unpaid skivvy, taking advantage of the woman in the most egregious way. A court heard yesterday as the unanimous verdict was delivered. Authorities were first alerted of the crimes when the victim told a friend about the abuse, who later reported it to the police. Yes, people are like, oh, they said that victim knew she was coming to the UK to work. She knew what she was coming. How did you know that she knew what she was brought to the UK to do? Or the kind of life she'll be subjected to? So upon Mugambe's arrest last year at her home in Kidlington, Oxfordshire, Mugambe, who was studying for a law PhD at Oxford University, insisted the victim had, in quote, asked to work for her. In quote, I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity. I am not a criminal. I have a diplomatic passport, she told police officers before again blaming the victim who she tricked into coming to the UK. I'm going to drop that video for you for where she was telling the police that she has a diplomatic passport. Diplomatic passport, my fruit.
So unfortunately, I'm going to have to now arrest you on suspicion of keeping somebody in slavery and servitude under the Modern Slavery Act. So you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned, something which later on in court, anything you do say may be used as evidence. All right. Sorry?
I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity. I am not a criminal.
You've got immunity in this country?
Yes. Wow. I have a diplomatic passport.
You're a diplomat?
Yes.
So we'll need to see that then.
Yes.
And then we'll need to speak to the embassy if you are a diplomat.
But today, a close family member living in Kampala told Mail Online, in quote, cultural differences between life in the UK compared to the East Africa country are to blame. In quote, the culture in the UK and the culture in Africa is different. Yes, because in Africa, we turn anybody to anything. We use anybody as rainwater. But here in diaspora, no, that culture is not. No. And for the fact that she's a judge, she knows not to encourage such culture here in the UK. But she still did anyways. In Africa, you could have 3 different generations in the same house. It doesn't happen here. This is the difference I'm talking about. We all help each other out. Would you not still give them some sort of favor, like buy them clothes, give them good food, allow them live their life freely, do what they can? And then the story continues saying that the relative claimed that Mugabe had known the victim for 17 years, taking her off the street before providing her with a home and paying job looking after her children. In quote, we have known her for so long, all her life. She did not bring her here into Slævery. She is here because she wanted a life of her own, they said. Lydia is a UN judge. She's a humanitarian. She is against all of these sort of things that she has been accused of. She has helped so many people, so many families. But the UK court, they found lies in that. So the family continues saying that it is just so disappointing that the judgment here to say that she's guilty of this accusation is bogus. At Oxford Crown Court yesterday, Mugabe was found guilty of facilitating travel with a view to exploitation, forcing someone to work, commissioning the breach of UK immigration law, and conspiracy to intimidate a witness. You see, it came after Thames Valley police were alerted that the woman was being held as a Slævery by Mugabe at her address in Brasenose Drive, a rented property where neighbors say she lived for only a brief period of time. When confronted about her crimes on February 10, 2023, the UN judge told officers, in quote, I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity. I am not a criminal. I have a diplomatic passport. In quote, she continues, I came here as a student. I don't need anyone to work for me, she added. I didn't come with her. She asked me because she has worked at my home before. So that was what she said in that video. And I'm going to drop that. So the relative continues saying that the victim had her school fees paid for by Mugabe back in Kampala before beginning to work for the family 10 years ago. So because you see, exploitation. They just want to exploit the person. So because she was paying fees for her family back home in Nigeria, now means that when she now come to the UK, she should now be working without getting paid. Like, make it make sense. See, that's why I said that the nonsense that some of you Africans can do in Africa, you can't bring it to diaspora. So all of you should open your ears and your brain and drop all of those shitty attitudes back in Africa. So the family keeps saying that that the victim had made up their ABUSC in a bid to claim asylum. That is what they will say. The person made the story up. No, but your judge knew better. So the family says this girl had been in her family for so long, and to come here and say she was a Slævery because she wants asylum given to her and put my sister in prison is just so unjust. The woman said the court and the jury, the cultural differences and everything that happened, they did not do any investigation. UK police did not do investigation. That's what the family of this judge is saying in Kampala. Keep playing. Keep playing. They just concluded that it was because of the status difference between the two of them. In quote, Lydia knew this girl for 17 years. It has not just happened. Lydia brought the young girl off the street into her home to work and help with her kids. To work, but she was not paying her. In a home, she added. Now she brought her into a home to give her an education and go back to school. She paid for her school fees in Uganda and invited her here to extend her education. So because she paid for her school fees back in Uganda, meant that when she brought her to the UK, she should not be working for free. She should not be paid. Like, you guys. But then she got the idea that she could stay and do something, and this is what happened. No, that's not what happened, because the police carried out their investigation and there was a witness as well. Mugabe was in the dock at the Oxford Crown Court yesterday, where prosecutors blasted her for taking advantage of the victim in the most egregious way. She was found guilty of conspiring to facilitate the commission of a breach of UK immigration law. And you guys know, when immigration find cases like this, they go in it like no man's business. So the prosecutor said, in quote, Lydia Mugabe has exploited an ABUSE alleged victim, taking advantage of a lack of understanding of her rights to properly paid employment and deceiving her as to the purpose of her coming to the UK. Jurors accepted the prosecution's case that Mugabe had engaged in quote, illegal folly with Ugandan Deputy High Commissioner John Leonard Mugawa, in which they conspired to arrange for the young woman to come to the UK. So you all remember, Mugabe is a student here. She can't bring somebody into the UK. Instead, she now used her other colleague, a UN, what's that called? UN commission, a deputy high commissioner, because she knows that person has power. She now went through that person to help her bring this person to the UK. So prosecutors said the pair participated in a, in quote, very dishonest trade-off in which Mr. Mugawa arranged for the Ugandan High Commission to sponsor the woman's entrance into the UK. You see, rub my back, I'll rub your back. That's what they do for each other, the way they do in Africa. So in exchange, Mugabe attempted to speak to a judge who was in charge of legal action. Mr. Mugawa was named in. Mugabe's trial aired, she had the intention of, in quote, obtaining someone to make her life easier and at the least possible cost to herself. So you are a PhD student here. You are a judge from your country. You can afford to pay your fees. Why can't you? I mean, how can you not be able to afford childcare fees for your children, or employ a professional childminder to come and babysit your kids? Yeah, they smell. You think so now Uganda you dey? No, it's like that boy talking. You're not in that. You're not in Uganda. You're in the UK. You act like the Ukadians, like the people in UK. Yes. So let's continue. She denied forcing the young Ugandan woman to do household chores and said she, in quote, always treated her with love, care, and patience. The young woman Mugabe, tricked into coming to the UK, who cannot be named for legal reasons, told the court previously she felt lonely and stuck after her working hours were limited. You guys, you all know, like, you know, boredom in the UK is not a small thing. So, according to our UN profile page, Mugabe was appointed to the body's judicial roster in May 2023, 3 months after police were called to her address in Oxfordshire. Miss Jorge said, in quote, Lydia Mugabe has exploited and abused the victim, taking advantage of a lack of understanding of her rights to properly paid employment and deceiving her as to the purpose of her coming to the UK. In quote, on her arrival, she was made to work for Miss Mugabe from the very start, unremunerated and acting as, in quote, maid and child carer to give Miss Mugabe back a life, in quote. Deprived of her freedom to choose her work, to control her ID documents, she was beholden to Lydia Mugabe. Why take her document from her if you don't have an ulterior motive? If there was any doubt about this, it can be removed by considering that the minute the victim challenged the defendant's authority and tried to have control of her own ID documents, she was threatened with being returned to Uganda. That is what they will have done to her. In quote, a young woman brought in for the convenience of Mugabe's life but mistreated by Lydia Mugabe, a woman of power and intelligence who had no crumbs, in lying not only to the victim but to the police when they sought to ensure the safety and well-being of the victim. So the victim in question entered the UK on the 9th of July 2022. The juror was told. Mugabe asked her in March 2022 if she was interested in coming to the UK to be a childminder. On the 20th of March 2022, Mugabe attended an event in the Ugandan High Commission in London. There, she met the Ugandan Deputy High Commissioner, Mugawa. I'm going to pop his image here. The victim's visa sponsorship form showed that she was going to work for the ambassador as a private domestic servant in a diplomatic household under the employer of Mugawa, not Mugabe. The Ugandan Deputy High Commissioner in North London, the court heard. The jury heard that on Friday, the 20th of 2023, the Thames Valley Police received a call to an address in Oxfordshire, having received a report from a woman claiming the victim was being held as a, in quote, SLAVE. Later that day, the victim was found in a TK Maxx store in Oxfordshire, with the reporting party believing her to be a victim of more than SLAVERY, the prosecutor said. The jury was told that there were false particulars of employment in her visa sponsorship and the alleged victim was never intended to work at the embassy. Yeah, they lied that she was going to go work at the embassy. Instead, they diverted her to the house of Miss Mugabe to work as a maid. And they were not paying her. So Mugabe treated the alleged victim as an in quote unpaid skivvy, the prosecutor said. Miss Jorge said that meeting at the High Commission with the Deputy High Commissioner was the turning point where Lydia Mugambe started an illegal folly with the Deputy High Commissioner to bring the alleged victim into the UK. The jury returned 3 unanimous guilty verdicts regarding conspiring to do an act to facilitate the commission of a breach of UK immigration law by a non-UK national, requiring a person to perform forced or compulsory labor and conspiring to intimidate a witness. A majority guilty verdict was returned regarding a 4th charge of arranging or facilitating travel of another person with a view to exploitation. So John Leonard Mugawa, who would have had diplomatic immunity, is now back in Uganda. Oga jackpot to Uganda straight away. Mugambe, the judge, will be sentenced at Oxford Crown Court on the 2nd of May. So it was obviously clear there. This is not a matter of cultural differences. No, this is let you know that all those of you that have housemates in Nigeria. Now I'm talking to Nigerians. Now those of you that have housemates in Nigeria, those of you that are employing underage children as your maid and you're not treating them well, it's the likes of you that will come to the diaspora and you'll be studying, I don't have housemaid, I don't have this, I don't have that. But if you have the money to be able to jackpot abroad, you should be able to take your kids to the childcare, to the nursery, pay for their childcare, or employ or recruit a professional childman. It was obviously clear the case of this woman. She knew as a student she can't bring somebody in, so she went through another colleague of her, and they were able to bring that person in under the decide that she will be working in the High Commissioner or in the High Commission embassy, only for her to be recruited to that to the UN judge to be working as a maid caring for her children. If you have money to come and study PhD in this country and you are a judge, you have lots of money, guys. This is just to show that any attitude, any bad behavior you have from Africa, if you bring it to this country, you'll be taught the hard way. And if you don't want to learn the hard way, see that attitude as you are entering airport, just take it off as a garment and drop it at the airport and don't bring it in here, because if you do, it will either make or disbar your life. I hope you are left from this story. If you are somebody like that you're planning on doing so, you are using it's just crazy that it's people in power that often misuse this power. Yes, you can misuse it. You can misuse it while you're in the country where you originate from. But as long as you leave the soil of your country, that abuse of power that you want to be using, just drop it in that your country and don't bring it here. Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts and opinion in the comment section. Did you actually think that this woman was actually treating that young person better? And did you think that the UK police did not carry out their investigation rightly? And did you agree with the family member saying that it was cultural differences, like the way all of this madam treat housemaid in Nigeria? Do you think that is what do you think that is the difference in the culture? Guys, leave your thoughts and opinion in regards to this story. And if you've watched this video till now, you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Don't forget to like, drop a comment in the comment section, subscribe if you've not yet done so, turn on the post notification, share this video. Do not hesitate to join my membership, and I hope to catch up with you in my next video. All right, bye for now. Bye.